I was never an excellent student, but I could organize a business out of nothing. In my school days, I traded stickers and gum. In college, I set up a whole office, and we sold finished term papers and diplomas, and helped find an approach to uncooperative teachers during the session. Guys with brains got money, and the inferiors gladly paid for the opportunity to continue their studies at the university to get the cherished crust. Life was full, many ideas were realized, and by the age of 35, I already had a successful business, a beautiful wife, and everything I could dream of. It seemed to me that I was standing firmly on my feet, but fate threw me a surprise. I've always run my own business, but I wanted to take it to the next level. I decided that it was time to entrust the management of my company to specialists, and myself to step aside and just reap the benefits. But I've worked hard for years for a reason. I've been looking for someone to take over as CEO for a long time, and I found him. I put him on probation and monitored him every step of the way. I had nothing to complain about. I calmed down. My wife and I started traveling extensively, and I learned to relax without thinking about work. Oh, you should. It was the first time I trusted someone in business, and that someone turned out to be the ultimate pig. Not only did that guy rip me off for every penny, but he left me in debt. I had to sell my car, my country house, and my apartment. My wife and I kept one car and moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of the city. My wife inherited the apartment from her grandmother a few years ago. We renovated it and rented it out. If I had known then that I myself would have to move into this doghouse, I'd have done a decent job. Of course, I bemoaned myself for a while. It was thanks to her that I realized that it was pointless to beat myself up. I had to create something new, more global, from scratch. I wanted so much to return to my old, carefree life. A long thought, calculations, and then I had a great idea. I needed startup capital, and I started looking for someone who was willing to invest. The first person who came to mind was Victor. I decided to invite him to a restaurant and informally make an offer that he would not be able to refuse. That was what my intuition told me. We met at the restaurant and talked for a long time. Victor was aware of what was going on in my life. "All right, Max, you didn't call me here to talk about life. If you need help, you just tell me." Victor suddenly said, sure, that I wanted to ask him for money. You see right through me. We've been friends since uni for a reason. I handed him a folder. "Here, the offer's ripe." Victor looked at me intently, silently opened the folder and looked at the figures for a long time. Then, slamming the folder shut, he handed it back to me. Good. I was pleased with the success. We celebrated the event with a glass of whiskey. By the way, my assistant quit. Your sweetheart doesn't want to work until your new business gets back on its feet. It's not hard work. It pays well. Mila was just looking for a job, but she was never hired because of her lack of experience. Of course, she was very happy about the offer, and in a couple of days she started working. And I went with my head into the realization of what I had planned. A couple of months passed, and then my sweetheart came back after work with a new phone, the latest model. She said that she got a bonus and decided to treat herself. On the one hand, I was proud of my wife, but on the other hand, I was hurt that I cannot now make her such gifts because all my earnings I invested in the development of my business. And after a few weeks, my wife came home with a new necklace and later with an expensive designer bag of bright red color. I considered such expenses not the most expedient in our situation, but I could not ask my wife to invest my earnings in my business. My business was finally starting to turn a profit. Wanting to celebrate new victories and please my wife, I decided to book a table at a restaurant. As I was leaving the restaurant, I met Victor's sister. We exchanged a formal hi. How are you? And I quickly headed towards the parking lot. But she caught up with me. Listen, you and Victor are such good friends. Do you know what kind of girl he's got? He did not introduce us to her, but I saw at his home checks for a new phone and necklace. And recently, he asked me to help him pick out a handbag from a famous designer. I helped, of course, but my mom and I think she's only with him for the money. It's obscene how much he spends on her. No, I don't know, I replied, trying to abstract myself from this female gossip. But then it hit me. The phone, the necklace, the purse. What kind of purse? I asked warily. Oh, the purse is a dream. Bright red. I'll show you a picture. She went to her phone, and for me, time stopped. Here, look, limited edition. There's no other one like it in our city. It costs like an airplane. I saved a picture of it on purpose. If I see this bag, I'll realize who our Victor is spending so much money on. I didn't hear what she told me next. I knew whose bright red bag it was. All right, I gotta go. Good to see you. I got in the car and called Mila. That's it. In one fell swoop, I lost my wife and my friend. But, it didn't break me. I'm not used to giving up.